welcome, and good night to third edition of the BK Sports Talk Show. As you know, once we're back, there's big things happening. There's big things brewing. It's been a while that the action has been a little bit dormant, but there's things on the horizon. And once you see us in the building, you know that there's big action about to take place. Joining me is our usual host, Mr. Morgan, and Beris. We have Beris on the Zoom tonight. He'll be joining us via the Zoom. In the studio, we have Mr. Morgan and myself. Um, we had our guest tonight was, the commissioner of the new league, Mr. Morgan, Mr. Leal, but due to some unfortunate circumstances, unfortunately, he won't be able to be here with us. But nevertheless, like always, we have great things in stock and in line for our viewers and our listeners. In the sports world, gearing up for what's coming their way. Mr. Morgan, it's good to be back. Berries, good to be back. Back in action again.
Yeah, season 3, and although it's a late start in terms of the time of the year that we're starting with the program, it promises to be a summer filled with sports, filled with high level sports and entertainment for Belizeans. So we will be here on a weekly basis breaking down the weekend in sports, the past weekend in sports, and getting you ready for what's upcoming in the following weekend. So for the summer, we have the new league, the Belize Premier Basketball League. We have the Belize male senior football team playing a couple World Cup qualifiers. There is some volleyball action in the latter part of the summer as well. So there will be quite a bit going on in the next few months.
Lots of big things happening. There is, there were big things happening before, and big things still continue happening. So, what you think? What you would say happening on the scene? Yeah, correct. Yes, well, reverse role. Well, Beres, in terms of the basketball, what you mentioned, basketball is for the Belizean by the Belizean. I'm excited to address what's coming up because I've been a part of both. I've been a part of the foreign invasion, and I've been a part of the local, you know, makeup as well. So I'm looking forward to dissecting it and giving my point of view. But before we get to that, the, the footballers, our football team, we want to get into the football scene. Our guys, they're coming up in June right here in the next couple of weeks. There's another international match coming up. The guys they will be facing on the 4th of June and the 7th of June. Montserrat on the 4th. On the 7th they'll be facing Panama. Um, but there was many changes and action taking place before. So we had new coaches, no coach, sorry. Um, I'm not sure about the lineup, what they would have at this moment, but there's some changes that's been taking place, and we like to dive into that and you know give our take on what's coming up. Uh,
Yeah.
first thing Beres, I think we want to the coach. Let's touch on the coach. There's a new coach, Mr. Enrique Mesa. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the structure that has been put in place is Enrique Mesa, the legendary Mexican coach Enrique Ojitos Mesa, is more of a at a technical director level. He won't be necessarily the coach on the sideline. He is leading the charge at that level, and his son Enrique Mesa Jr. will be the X and O coach along with Charlie and another Mexican, Diego Bartolota. You know? So that's the structure that's in place with the FFB, and from what I've been informed, it's a short-term project specifically for these World Cup qualifiers, which in my view is a bit unfortunate because we would like to have this type of expertise working with us in a longer term type of project to really get the structures in place. Not necessarily people go to the games and watch the end result, but that end result comes with a lot of behind the scenes work, putting the proper structures in place, putting the proper uh, coaching capacitation courses in place, and so on. But nevertheless, the Enrique Mesa Senior is a coach that actually coached the Mexico national team on an interim basis. Um, he has won several first division championship, the Liga MX championships with Pachuca, with Cruz Azul, with America. He's coached the bigger clubs in Mexico then. So he has a wealth of experience in terms of working in the spotlight and building systems. The son, the Enrique Mesa Jr., has coached in South America, in Peru, in Paraguay. He has coached in Mexico, specifically in the youth divisions in Mexico, which, like I said, if they were given a longer term project to work with, would be very beneficial to us because we have quite a number of very promising youth talent that is coming up, but we need those persons with that first-hand knowledge of
Expertise.
building,
Yeah.
that youth structure, and then getting those youths into that elite level where they can perform for the A team for us.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, for me, there is my personal take on that. Before we get into to all that, I would say that it is something that in the if you've been following the football many years ago, and if you watch these countries how they used to do with their coaches, they used to get foreign coach and in terms of the local in training their local players. Recently, you had saw a change in that. You saw some countries revert back to getting their own athletes. In terms of players who will play for their country to lead the charge. And now, for me personally, my personal take on that was that I was kind of saddened by it. I must say, but because I think. I think that we got a little excited when we faced Costa Rica and they gave us that 7-0 and that 6-1 and nobody had watched leading up to that Costa Rica game where we had 6 international matches where we had a very in the month of September where we had a very good run under the likes of Charlie. You know, Charlie, we played Turks and Caicos, we gave them 4-0. We played Anguilla, we gave them 1-0. We played Anguilla again, we gave them 1-0. We went back to Turks and Caicos, we gave them 3-0. We played French Guiana and we gave them 2-1, and then we had a draw 2-2. So within that September month leading up to the Costa Rica game, we had a very, very, very great, show, and I think we kind of got a little excited when we met Costa Rica, knowing that Costa Rica was a powerhouse, So the need for the sudden change of the front office to me was kind of, I think was short lived. I didn't think it should have happened, but I'm not in the front office, but I'm on the side watching what's happening. But I just think that they should have stayed the course and given Mr. Charlie more, because putting someone ahead of him, from my point of view, will have a little difference, in terms of egos and things like that. It's just natural. But that's just my personal take on it, no, Beres?
Yeah, I think the change that was made by the FFB, I don't know if it's, yeah.
Sideline, I don't like the front line.
No, well, I don't know how the dynamics will work out, between the coaches, but I don't. The change itself was reactionary. I wouldn't call it premature. I would call it reactionary, because if you watch the landscape of Central American football right now, all the Central American teams are going for coaches, foreign coaches with big experience. Costa Rica went for Piojo Herrera, a man that coached the Mexican national team that has won multiple championships in the Mexican Liga MX. Honduras has a foreign coach as well. I think it's Ronaldo Rueda is the coach of Honduras. He's a Colombian that took Colombia to the World Cup already.
Yeah.
Right. El Salvador has a Mexican, Carlos de los Cobos, who coached a Mexico youth selection to a championship as well. I think it's the under-17 team with Giovanni Dos Santos,
yeah,
and Jonathan Dos Santos and those guys, right? The only team that has a local coach, so to speak,
yeah,
is Panama.
Yeah.
Right? Panama is the only team that has a local coach, but
yeah,
Panama has far advanced their football, and their level is much higher. And the game, coming back to the game against Costa Rica, games against Costa Rica,
yeah,
I think it's a matter of managing expectations, Keith, because Costa Rica is a perennial World Cup representative for CONCACAF.
correct.
We are striving to get to that level. As you rightly pointed out, we created a little bit of a high expectation with the games that we won and the form that the team was in.
Yeah.
But we have to put that in its proper context and say that we were not playing against the caliber of competition that the elite of Central America or the region, for that matter. So we have to take our baby steps, and while taking those baby steps, we have to get ourselves organized to be able to expect to perform at a high level against the Costa Ricas and the Panamas of the region.
Yeah. But don't you think hence the reason why, because we would still have the same success and loss with whichever coach I think would lead the front line. And we're at a point, or we're at a junction now where we're searching for identity. I mean, we are searching for pride. We're searching for pride with our coaching and with our players, and countrywide as well. When we go to the game, we can see where we want to look at the whole picture and say, Belize,
Yeah.
And whichever coach that you would put there, the results in terms of the, you would say this, the lesser competition and the greater competition would still be the same.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
I kind of understand where you're coming from. While I'll say this, right? While your argument might be true to an extent where you might end up with the same win last result,
Yes.
I think the critical thing is to show that you're building, that you're progressing, right? Let me give you an example. In 1991 or 92,
Yeah.
we played the Panama A team at the then National Stadium, what is now Marian Jones.
Yeah.
We drew that game with Panama. I think the game was drawn 1-1 or 2-2, if I'm not mistaken. And that was a full Panama team with the Dele Valdeses and
Yeah.
those guys, right? Now, fast forward to where we are now. That's what, 34 years ago, right?
92.
90, like 33, 34 years ago, right? Panama is a World Cup team.
Yeah.
Panama is poised to make another strong World Cup run.
And
we're still in the same position. So you have to be able to show that you're making those incremental steps towards getting to that level.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example, Nicaragua.
Yes.
Nicaragua and Belize. As a matter of fact, Belize was at a higher level than Nicaragua football,
Until
football
recently.
terms, right? But Nicaragua has shown that steady growth. They are not yet in that elite of Central America, but they're on that path, and that's what I think should be our goal right now. You know, we focus a lot on the A team, on the senior team. The senior team is a final product. That's not what the national football program is really about. You have to have that development aspect to it, where you have a steady stream of talent coming out of your youth and junior teams, filtering into that senior team. When that competition is pushing against the guys from the senior team, you know, it forces them to perform at a higher level. We have guys on the senior team that have been there for 10 years, 12 years. You know, in any other country that has a well-developed football system, those guys would have been forced out, not necessarily because we don't want it again, but because the talent that's coming down the pipeline is so strong.
Correct.
That there's a natural evolution, a talent at the top.
And I think that is one of our greatest problems, is that, you know, the talent that is coming behind. You know, for quite some time now, we've had where we've been at I would say at a stagnant position, because we haven't been able to get over the hump. I think the farthest we went to is when we played the Gold Cup tournament, you know, in terms of, you know, representation. But we're looking for the next Macaulay, we're looking for the next, you know, guys to come on the scene, but we're not, I don't think that we're seeing it as yet. Whether with the youths, them up and coming, I think probably the Mesa Junior, you know, is one of our great project right now, who is in Jamaica studying right now with their program. But until then, we're not seeing the progress that I think the people is clamoring for right now.
But Keith, you hit the nail on the head. But you see, you pointed out Dion Macaulay, superstar in his era, right? Then you pointed out Marlon Mesa Jr., right? Those are two individuals, which very special players, don't get me wrong. But a football or any sports program depends on groups of players coming along,
Correct.
not one individual player, right? And that is where the gap exists. We are not producing groups of players coming along. You watch a Costa Rica team that played us here and in Costa Rica.
Yes.
That's a very young team, you know, Keith.
Yeah.
That's their generation that will take them from now to the next two World Cups, basically. That those players that you saw there, most, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Most of them are playing in Europe, in smaller leagues in Europe.
Yes.
But they'll get their break in the bigger leagues as well. But what I'm saying is that you look at that team,
Yeah.
that's an entire block of players.
Yeah.
And that speaks to their development program, that they're bringing along large groups of
Yeah.
players. You know,
Definite, yeah.
and no doubt
Whilst-
they have another group at the U17, another group at the U15 coming along
Yeah.
to supplement that as those guys get older, and that has to be our goal. That is our progress. For me, right now, the success of the Belizean football product is not necessarily the result of the A team. It's knowing that we have a process in place and that we are bringing along players that will get us in 5 years, in 10 years, a little bit closer to that World Cup dream.
But don't you think it trickles in the form of the representation as well? Because you know, we are bringing we're bringing guys along, but when we go out there and we represent, we're getting the 6 and the 7 and the 8, you know, despite whom we put out there. It's like the same amount we're still receiving.
You know what's the difference? Professionalism versus amateurism.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can convince me that play a series out of 10 games that an amateur team can beat a professional team more than once. Maybe once, but not more than once.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference in capacity. There's a difference in technical ability. When you watch a Costa Rica game, what amazed me from that Costa Rica team is the precision with which they change the ball from wing to wing. When the ball is on one wing, they teach you defensively that you come across and you smile in the field in half.
Yeah.
But when that ball is changed back across the field, the precision with which those long changes were made gave the defense no time to react and get back in shape. That's how several other goals were scored in the counter-attack wing to wing exchanges.
Yeah.
Right? But that comes as a result of the technical capacity of these players, which was groomed from a very small age. Some years ago, I went to watch a national team practice. I think Ian Mork, the American Ian Mork, was the coach of the team. I was shocked to see that our senior team was working on basic things such as how to kill one ball, how to properly center one ball. At a national team level, that's not it.
And being senior guys as well.
That's not it.
Yeah.
You work on tactical and technical aspects, preparing you for the game that you're going to play, right? So we have a lot of work to do, but to borrow a phrase from Dean Barrow, I am a cockeyed optimist, and knowing that we have a lot of talent. Now, the key to getting that talent or that potential into a tangible result is the organization.
Yeah.
And that's where we have to work. And the FFB, the leadership of the FFB have to take a very critical look. Not be thin-skinned, you know, because when we talk about these things, these guys have a tendency, oh, Keith not like me, or no. We the Belizean.
We the voice where they say out there.
Right. We the Belizean, and we want to see the best for we country. So they have to be very introspective and take a critical look on what can we do differently? What can we do better to smaller this gap? Because the talent is not our problem. We can see that. If you take a Belizean kid at 12 or 13 years old, talented, athletically talented, and put him in a system in Costa Rica, in Mexico, and leave him there for 5 years, you would not recognize that kid when you bring him back to Belize.
Right.
But the organization of football. Huh? Precisely. Precisely. Right? So we get fixated on the discussion about potential and talent by the young boy, by this, that. But what can we do to get that young boy at the level where he need to get? We stop right there that by the man talented. No, that's not it. The technical capacity, the mental awareness, the game IQ. What can we do to get that kid to the level that he needs to get? We stop at the point of talent, right? And that's where I think the gap exists, and that's where we need to improve.
He has far up. Well, we have a very long road to go. You know, I think there is. We have a long road to go. I think, and it's coming up on the fourth and the seventh will be another test. Um, you know, another huge test. Um, after especially after the Costa Rica defeat and the mindset of the public, the mindset of everyone going into these two matches. Um,
And you know what stood out to me in that Costa Rica game here at home, Keith? And I could say this. I've followed football from the the late 80s, from inter-district days. I follow football I'm more a football fan than a basketball or volleyball fan. Like,
yeah,
I put it that way to you.
correct. Yeah.
What stood out to me was the fan support.
Yes,
That was the
exceptional.
greatest showing of fan support
Yeah.
for a football team that
Yes,
I've ever
I
seen in Belize.
I must say,
Right?
yeah,
And a lot of these people went home disappointed, maybe rightfully, wrongfully so. But the FFB has to figure a way how to consistently get that fan support, because it makes a difference. It does make a
yeah,
difference. Right?
I must admit, likewise, that the turnout was exceptional, despite the result of the game. But the turnout shows that people want. You know, it shows that people want. They want to see. You know, want to see our team success. They want to see the country. You know, because especially when it comes to the national team, people look at the game on a different level, and they have a greater sense of pride. You know, once it comes to the national team, and it showed in their their attendance for that game. Um, but you know, winning brings more. You know, winning brings more. So you would have had. We want to see more.
Yeah.
So but winning requires results.
But
and
we have to manage expectations and
Yeah.
understand that that there are levels of competition to this thing. You know, you can't go from where we there to beating Costa Rica or beating Mexico overnight. The thing not happen. It's a process, and we have to be engaged. The FFB as the organization leading football has to be accountable to its stakeholders, which includes the fans and players. Has to be accountable in terms of what their process is, what is their vision, how can you articulate this vision to us, and give them a check-in every now and then and say, but you know what, in a 20, I think they had a launching of a strategic plan in the early 2020s, I believe.
Yeah.
Right? Come back and give me a check-in, but you know what, we may say we and do this in a 2020, we there now, you know, we there on track, or by, you know, we there slightly off track, but we do this, we catch back on track.
Yeah.
Keep the public engaged, keep the stakeholders engaged, so that in that way you manage the expectations. You know, got people, they feel like you're going out there and lick up Costa Rica, or you're going out there and lick up Mexico. No?
But you want to show, you want to represent, you know. We want to also make you know, give mention to the Verdes FC club, you know, which is go to the local scene. They ended up winning the local league over San Pedro, who eliminated the open season champ Port Loyola FC. It was a surprise, you know. I think especially for Port coming out, not coming out, going into the closing season, playing so well, and fell short to the Pirates, and then you had the Pirates who fell short to Verdes. You know, so you want to give us a little take on what you think of that season?
Why I'll say this, right? When the season started with 6 teams, I was a bit disappointed. But the contraction of the league from 8 to 6 teams really had the result of condensing the talent.
Yeah.
So you had 6 teams that were better teams, because the Belmopan team improved, Wagia improved, right? I watched the San Pedro team all season, and I was impressed with their chemistry and their style of play. I wasn't surprised that they beat Port Loyola.
Coached by a female.
Right. Right.
You know.
I wasn't surprised at the beach Port Lille because they played that style of football consistently all year. You know, I met Ian Guinea Yellowman when they had that Costa Rica game here in Belmopan.
Yes.
And I told him, man, I am very proud of you guys. I am glad to see football back in Belize City. When football is big in Belize City, football is big in the country.
In the country, correct.
Right? So I hope that they're not thrown off by the fact that they didn't get back to this CONCACAF because I think they were pretty sure that they would be back. Right?
You were hearing some little 1-2 about the Port FC, so we're hoping that it's not so.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't really want to expound on it because we're not sure.
Right.
But they represented very well.
But big up to Verdes. I mean, Verdes was clearly the best team throughout the season. They were very consistent. They were very
2-0, 2-0, 2-0
Yeah.
away, 2-0 at home.
Very consistent. Their style of play is clear. They have a very clear idea what they want to do, and they execute well on the field.
Yeah.
So, congrats to the Verdes management. They've consistently put in the work and put some good products on the field for us as fans.
Here at the desk, we want to wish them the best of luck forward as well, because now they're going into the CONCACAF, right?
Yeah.
And so they're gonna, as you know, as we all know, the competition gets more intense, and so they're gonna need all the support and the well wishes and everything to, as they advance, you know, to take on these international squads and you know, go compete and represent us, because they are a club, but they're going to be representing Belize.
Right.
You know, so we want to wish them all the best, you know, as they move forward and, you know, make us proud. If a small step would be at the local level, making us proud at the local level, and then the national will follow.
Yeah. And Verdes does have the structure and the capacity to get some results. You have to understand that the CONCACAF Champions League the format has changed.
Yeah.
Remember, we were once in that level where you had to play one knockout game to get in at the competition.
Yeah.
Right? So now the teams are guaranteed at least.
We're guaranteed a spot.
A spot and guaranteed. I think it's 3 games in the group phase, right? So it gives you a chance to build a lead, reading build a lead momentum instead of play one game and
you're out. Yeah,
right?
so you're officially in, and you're representing with a chance to move up,
right?
And secure and win the championship. You know. But you know, we wanna take a little break, and we'll be back shortly. Give you guys some more, you know, wrap up some of the more nice things happening. Barry, so I'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back after these messages.
In the heart of this vibrant city, where dreams soar high and opportunities unfold, there's a name you can trust for your peace of mind: Simpson's Insurance Agency Limited. With its headquarters at the Phoenix Business Center, we are your trusted partner in securing your future. At Simpson's Insurance Agency Limited, we represent industry leaders in insurance: Guardian General Insurance Limited, Sagicor, and Ana Seguros. Life is unpredictable, and we understand the importance of protecting what matters most to you, your family, and your assets. Our dedicated team at Simpson's Insurance Agency Limited is committed to guiding you through the insurance needs, providing tailored solutions to meet your unique needs. But that's not all. Phoenix Business Center houses more than just our insurance agency. Our state-of-the-art conference room is at your service. Elevate your business meetings in a professional environment strategically located in the capital city. Simpson's Insurance Agency Limited, your one-stop insurance solution.
Print Belize Limited, located at number 1 Power Lane, Belmopan City, a company with over 150 years of printing experience. Here at Print Belize Limited, we treat our customers with 100% of printing skills from highly trained staff that ensures to treat your product with care using highly engineered state-of-the-art technology. Print Belize Limited publishes books, reports, brochures, magazines, posters, flyers, and much more. Don't forget, we also do overnight printing. Print Belize Limited also produces high-quality rust-proof reflective license plate that will ensure life safety when driving at nighttime. While imported licenses plate has a simple design, our license plate are uniquely designed with Bitely Colors logo that can be personalized for your private or business operating vehicle. Come and check us out for great deals. From the past to the present, Print Belize Limited, we thank you for supporting us and building with us for the future days to come.
Fall but we back. A one team, one dream. Different type of league, different type of settings. Hope you get
Welcome back, welcome back. Well, we want to shift the scene to a little to the volleyball world. As you know, there's some great news on the horizon. Recently, we've had a lot of our talented volleyball players who has just recently graduated from their schools, and we at the desk want to wish them and congratulate them firstly. We want to congratulate them and wish them all the best, and it seems like there's great things happening on the volleyball horizon, since we're having some of our very own talented guys who went through system and should be representing us continuously in the future, and with their knowledge and their skill set as well. But first, we want to congratulate them on their school, their academics, which is very important for them, and being a student athlete, and Derek.
Yeah. Well, the graduation of these kids out at the university level, getting their bachelor's degree, some of them with the possibility of going further and getting a master's degree
Yeah.
based on their athletic prowess, um, is a testament to the fact that there are many benefits to pursuing elite level sports.
Yeah.
You know, getting a degree, looking at the dollar value of those degrees that you're earning, and looking at how that positions you in life to do greater things for yourself and your family
For their athletic ability.
based on your athletic ability
With
is
scholarship.
right.
So,
It should be a real motivation for young people to say that, you know what, I will dedicate my
Yeah.
time to becoming an elite athlete, and I leverage my athletic ability to get an education, which then puts me in a position to further myself.
I think we should be shouting at the top of the mountain, for all our scholastic, students and athletes, achieving such an, for their athletic ability,
Right,
and,
right.
and receiving the opportunities.
And before we lose the opportunity, we need to give credit to the BK Foundation, which
Yes.
started this entire push to get these volleyball players out there, learning the ropes in terms of what the application process is like to get these kids eligible to play college sports, because it's not just a matter of, I want to play college ball, so
Yeah.
I'm going there. No, there is a tedious process involved. Somebody has to learn the path.
Could you imagine the savings that these athletes' family, received with where they didn't have to invest so much in sending their child to an athletic program, having their kids going through the whole, you're looking at a huge sum of money.
Easily, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes,
Easily,
yes.
kid,
And
easily.
that's why I'm saying, things like this, we should be shouting at the top of the mountain and congratulating and yes. Yes.
Why the man still go by the same name, Bird?
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Competition. The competition is what competition is what drives excellence. If you don't have nobody, they challenge you, they push you, you become lackadaisical, and you
Yeah.
don't really maximize your potential.
You once you're there at the top of the hill, you need to strive higher,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for me, Maris, after going through some of the programs, when you line up in front of another elite athlete, it's the less jitters you have, because you know that you've trained well, you're very prepared, so you tend to be more at ease, and you would get the best from yourself going up against elite athletes, knowing that you're ready for the moment. You're ready for the moment. You're ready for the individual, and you know that the work that you've put in because of the program that you are in has prepared you, and so those were some of the rather than those are some of the things, rather than not being prepared, and you have some at least get nervous and all that, that type of intimidation. And there's no intimidation once you go through certain programs and you prepare yourself, and you know that you can take on whoever is in front of you. You can challenge them and compete with them at the highest level.
Yeah. Keep.
Yeah. Yes, it was very good, and the energy was that, just like you mentioned, the athletes that are here, when they see you, they want to test. They want to find out, can I compete against you who had the opportunity to go out there. So without them having the opportunity to go out there, you who was out there and came back to compete against them, you represent their opportunity to show that where they stand. So I used to get the challenge all the time where they're like, well, you gone out there, so I know gone, but you still gonna see how good I am. So you would have where you would be the testing point for these athletes, who didn't have the opportunity to go and represent or go at a farther level, but you are their testing point, you are their challenge, and to show that if I can compete against you, that means that I could have competed against others that were out there.
Yeah, I agree with Keith, and that's one of the point. That's the point I was going to make. I was going to look at address it from a different standpoint as you. That when you play against guys that you see on TV, or that you know that played at a collegiate level abroad, you take it as a challenge to show that, listen, yeah, I haven't been out there, but I can show you that I am capable of that type of exposure as well. The other thing that stands out is you see the difference in technical ability. I remember playing against Mexico in a tournament, and there was a guy, Ivan Contreras, that played for Penn State. That the year that we played against them, Penn State actually won the NCAA tournament. Ivan Contreras was about 6'4", not spectacularly gifted in terms of athleticism, but when you look at his ability to execute the skills at a high level over the course of an entire game, that gave you an idea of where you need to be to get to that level. Yeah. It's not just, well, I am strong, I'm powerful, I jump high, I hit the ball hard. The technical ability to execute the skills at a high level over and over and over.
Yeah.
That's
Correct.
what separates the people that have played in that college system from people that just
Correct.
play street ball.
Yeah, and there is, it was an opportunity for myself to take on the challenge and show them that, hey, this is what you need to do, or this is, you need to step your game up, you know, as well, in order to be able to compete at another level. So the challenge came from both ways. The challenge came from, you know, the individual that you're going up against here, and it came from myself as well, to show them that, hey, this is the reason why I got, you know, I was out there.
Got you. And Derek, so do you know, like, national team, also part of the staff, several teams, with Joy and what do you think how do you see the transformation in the turf on the court? In the vibes, in the locker room, vibes in the gym, in the training. What have you picked up so far regarding when
I think the guys that have gone out and come back, and the guys that are out there right now have definitely raised the bar in terms of what is expected from a national team player. As I mentioned just now, especially where the technical attributes are concerned. One, two, the work ethic that it takes. If you want to be good, it takes an amount of work that you put in. It's not just imagining that you're good, right? And three, the mental part of the game. These guys play in tournaments that are against high-level teams, that you have to be focused and you have to execute on every point. You can't have one whole set. You can't take one set off, right? So I think those aspects of the game. And one more thing that I think that the guys that are out there and that have been out there and came back have contributed is the focus on the weight room.
Yeah.
The focus on the weight room. They've been out there and they've seen how the coaching staffs really emphasize that conditioning and weight training.
Strength training.
You know, that strength training.
Very important.
That's extremely important
Very
in
important,
elite level sports. The gap, so to speak, that has prevented us from really dominating the Central American scene as we should, given the talent and the exposure that our guys have, is simply a matter of cohesion. Our guys don't get the opportunity to play enough games as a unit, right? Individually, they're great. They do their jobs, you know, but as a unit, when you play against Guatemala, we have basically the same core for the last 7-8 years. When you play against Salvador, we have a core even more than that, right? Those teams are battle tested.
Yeah.
You know, we have to find the means to get our guys battle tested against high level teams, right? When you play against teams that are as good or better than you, it can only raise your level. If you play practice games against yourself, yeah, it's an activity.
even the national, the more fun, I mean, kind of there's no tournament where we have to be kind of
Right. Watch out, make I tell you something, right? Simple thing. The hardest skill in volleyball is serve receive. That's the hardest skill in volleyball. If you are used to seeing a 60 or 70 mile an hour jump serve, if you see that regular,
Yeah.
that's not a challenge. But if you don't see that regular
It
and you
becomes
go to
a
a
challenge.
tournament and you
It
meet that,
becomes a
it becomes a
challenge.
challenge, right? So you have to get players exposed to playing against high level competition
So that
on
they
a
can
consistent
adapt
basis, so
and
that you can
adjust.
adapt. You see things,
Yeah.
and you see
You know what to do.
and you see situations,
Yeah.
right? we've seen games where our senior, let's just show that example. We're not the pick panning guys. We senior male team, they up 21-19.
Yeah.
Right? Situation, score and situation type of thing.
Yeah.
And we have one player go back there and serve. We they up 21-19. We only need 4 points to win this set. In that 4-point window, you have to be a little bit more conservative. You know, going for the low jump serve.
Every
Right?
point
Going a
counts now.
placement
Yeah.
with a least speed on it, because every point counts. You can't give them no points. And we kind of lose these games because we don't understand that score and situation type of thing.
Yeah.
How you get to understand that? By being in a situation.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then Marlo, I think we're both way that there we look forward to the something like your team we have we're going out on Brazil last year, Pacific, led by Lisa and Barry. Reports coming out in Alabama is that Lisa has taken a leap to the next level. Really been doing work in the team. Fatima is back, Garrett is back. They have Okaya, and of course, everybody who is listening, Kaya is the nine. I said nine. My volleyball as I observe the crowd there who is currently at the ACC level. What's the expectation for the summer? Do you think we've done enough to make the league to get to where Costa Rica is? Let's assume that Costa Rica being the 18. I think we're there now.
Tal-
Or if we're not there, what we have to do to get there?
talent-wise, definitely we did it. Now, again, I come back to the same point where I make with the male team, the cohesion. The female team has a little bit of an advantage because most of these young ladies are from the same club. They've known each other from basically childhood. They've played together. They've been in a million battles together. So that's an advantage as a starting point. But when you look at the Costa Rica, if Costa Rica comes full strength, those Costa Rican players have played against the likes of the US, Canada,
Yeah.
Cuba, Dominican Republic, so they've been tested at a higher level. I think that our leaders can overcome them if it's in a neutral location or in Belize. I don't know where the tournament is going to be.
You know the triple team,
Oh well, I'll go all in betting on the Belize team if it's here in Belize. Like I've always told you, Berries, when we find setters that can block, our teams will go to a different level. If you cannot block the 4 position in volleyball, you cannot win high level volleyball because 50 to 60% of the attacks come from the 4 position. So you have to be able to block that position. And from the last tournament, we kind of transitioned to a bigger setter. Hopefully that remains the same, or we get another bigger setter that can do that job. We don't have any trouble in terms of attacking. We have hands down. We hands down of the best 5 attackers in the female game in Central America. We have 2 or 3 of them, hands down.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm optimistic there. When I got the call from the good brother and Coach Reeves, who we spoke to last year on the show, he said, "Bye, Lisa and the little, right? She had a arm and a half year, of course, being a freshman in a 4-year program. You will have your ups and downs. You will have
toughest job for the coach of this team for this tournament, this female tournament here in Belize Berries. The toughest job belongs to the coach because he has so much material to work with. He has the unenviable task of managing the egos in that locker room, right? Yeah. And managing the playing time, because we have so many. The thing is, we have so many players that play the same position that have that international exposure, that are playing that college ball in the States. So somebody will have to take one back seat to somebody, and that in itself is one of the primary jobs that the coaching staff has to take seriously if we want to be successful. Because I sit down on the bench, even if you play good, I feel like I better than you, I need one break for play. That type of thing create one friction, and you have to know how to kind of manage that, right?
Yeah, for sure. Alright, so like I said, we're going to learn a couple of interesting here before the tournament. Of course, we do want to speak with the administrators as well. Get some regards to Coach Sharp, see where we are. Where we are, I don't know, but let me ask you, because in the last week, the and then we get to see look to close out on basketball.
Play a tune. So we do it in a 8-2-2. So we do it in a 8-2-2. So we do it in a 8-2-2. So we do it in a 8. In a 8-2-2. In a 8-2-2. So we do it in a 8. In a 8-2-2. In a 8-2-2. So we do it in a 8. In a 8-2-2. In a 8-2-2. So we do it in a 8. In the 8-2-2. This is the 8-2-2. This one is for the 8. We tell them hold the faith. Nobody mind the wait. Cause nothing come late. Everything take time. Hard work, dedicate. We just wanna be great. This how we do it in the 8. Them try to left without a bar. No, none of that. One shot. Put the city on the map. Got the city power bar. Key for the padlock. Every ghetto youth to make it out the trap. We are reach for the top. Them no want to see that. Long time them I pray for a flop. But them now go see that. No, we not do that. Ask the word, them I tell us so we act, but we do it for the 8. So we do it in the 8-2-2. So we do it. Me no know what them I hate. So we do it in the 8-2-2. So we do it. Every youth on great. So we do it in the 8-2-2. So we do it. Get the youth all the faith. So we do it in the 8-2-2. So we do it in the 8. I do this for the 8-2-2. And you know that me I stay true to, yeah. I do this for my Tigers crew, side 7, the whole of the 8-2-2. We a keep up the grind, just no stopping. To the top, when we aim, just no bobbing. Me know that my mom is so proud of me. And me I do this for the 8 years, follow me.
8-2-2, las flores en el 8-2-2. Somos campeones en el 8-2-2. Tú no estás listo para el 8-2-2. 8-2-2, las flores en el 8-2-2. Somos campeones en el 8-2-2. Tú no estás listo para el 8-2-2.
So we do it in the 8-2-2. In the 8-2-2. So we do it in the 8. In the 8-2-2. In the 8-2-2. So we do it in the 8. In the 8-2-2. In the 8-2-2. So we do it in the 8. In the 8-2-2. This is the 8-2-2. Sometime we hype and sometime we calm. The bell my band, we not gonna gang war. Who am I the bandits, #1 star. 8-2-2, the world know who we are. Full of our artists and DJ like Richie. Yo, we work hard, stay fly and witty. Bell my band girls, them smart and pretty. 8-2-2, we say Garden City.
Yeah, BMP once again, yeah.
We say Garden City. 8-2-2, yo, we them can't test. Herb when me come from straight out the west. More money dog, me no want nothing less. Aim for the top, yes, we aim for the best. Yeah.
Our objective is to create some sort of an outlet for musicians to promote, brand and market the music nationwide and eventually jump into the international scene. We must start somewhere. This is our start, 8-2-2.
So we do it in the 8-2-2. So we do it in the 8-2-2.
I know me have to keep me head up high. Me want to achieve a bad mind. Not even while you dream when you sleep. Hustle 25, 8 grand a lot every week. Got the heart of the city every time I go speak. You see me rep me area hard, cause me love me city bad. If you not love BNP, then your head must mad. She know I'm from the ick and me got different swag. Represent the 822 and you know me
so
now.
we do it in the 8, in the 822, in the 822. So we do it in the 8, in the 822, in the 822. So we do it in the 8, in the 822, in the 822. So we do it in the 8, in the 822. This is the 822.
All right. Good night, and welcome back to our final segment now. Now that the hot topic, Derek and Beres, as you guys know, the BPBL, there is no more NEBL, so the BPBL has decided to take over and bring out new leagues, so to speak. At first, we were taught that nothing wasn't going to happen, but word of mouth started, and boom, something pop up. It's sound excited. I guess they always tell you once the bounce players want to come. The atmosphere is getting excited. The look around has some buzz to it. The preparation going into it is for mostly locals. It's something that fans throughout the country has been asking for, and I think now is a time that it's going to happen for them. It's going to happen at a great time as well, where a lot of our local athletes are in school and they're back to play as well. So we're going to have. What type of you think games do you think will be happening?
Yeah, I think for one, the parity will be much better across the board. From what I've heard so far, I haven't seen the full roster of any of the teams so far, but I've heard more or less what the roster composition is looking like. So you'll have a great level of parity, which that competitiveness or competitive games draws fans. Fans want to go to a game where they know, listen, it's gonna be a competitive match. The teams are evenly matched. Either team can win the game, as opposed to going to a game where you don't know by this will be a 40-point blowout or a 30-point blowout, right? So I think I can't wait to see the marketing angle that the league is going to take in terms of pushing the product. I heard the ad for the game in Belize City this Friday night between the Angriga, Dream Ballers, and the Thunderbolts.
All right. Just for those who are listening and watching, the BPBL starts this Friday. There's going to be a game, so basketball is back.
Yeah. So we should kind of set the table for the people out there, because there hasn't been the level of publicity yet. I think the league is getting itself organized, and we'll see those things. We had the commissioner scheduled for tonight, but unfortunately he's not able to make it because of scheduling conflicts. But you have a franchise out of Corozal,
Corozal, Ceres.
Belize City, Thunderbolts.
The new Belize City Thunderbolts.
The
The old school San Pedro Tiger Sharks. The name still remain the same. Western Ballers still remain the same. We have the Punta Gorda Panthers.
making
Yes.
its way back.
Easy Investment Dream Ballers. They're back again. Belmopan Capital.
Belmopan Kings.
Capital Kings. Capital Kings.
Capital Kings.
Capital City Kings,
Make it get it
yes.
straight, yeah.
Capital City Kings. So in total there's 7 teams. 7 teams. This Friday the first game starts between Belize City Thunder and the Easy Investment, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days away.
Yeah.
3 days away. Belizean American or an American?
Belizean.
Okay, Belizean American. Okay.
He's Belizean.
Oh, so he's Belizean.
Yeah, man.
Belizean. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Eager for sure. I guess he must be eager to show the people something. Yeah. 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 Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hype up your team, man. You mean give it too much the season there? you can't have their secret season. Tell them when they go on.
Don't let my tap
Boss will lose.
hide him. Good though.
It's great to hear, but I wanna get you guys, perspective on the approach. The idea of going back to locals. I have a lot of, I think, experience with such. When I started playing, at that time, there were 1 or 2 foreigners for an entire season. Yeah. So if you had with Berries, you had where 1 or 2 team might bring 1 foreigner. Then you had where, as the league progressed, as the year went along, then it became 3, then 4. Then you had one season where one team had 5. Then you had where it just ballooned. So I have a lot of a take on just having locals and then having several foreigners, and then so what you guys take on the approach that they're making in terms of the locals and limiting the foreigners and Belizean American.
I think a big thing is looking at the sustainability of the league. It's great to have all these Belizean Americans and foreigners, and you get a good show, but that's not sustainable. We've seen that before. The Belizean market cannot sustain that sort of product over not even the medium term, much less the long term. We have to build it and get our local kids the opportunity to play at that highest level. When the NEBL started over, I don't remember the year it was. Maybe Barris could help me there.
2014.
When the NEBL started over in 2014, that was a formula.
Yeah.
And they built a very nice product. 2015, the first year we never really appreciated, but by the second and the third year, you start to see the level of the players improving, the overall basketball product improving, to the point where we get to the crossroads where we say, well, you know what? How we can make this better?
Yeah.
We can bring in more foreigners, right? And that formula gave us very good basketball, right? But economically, the Belizean market cannot support that product over the long haul. Then it becomes a situation where you might have 1 or 2 teams that are able to secure the sponsorship needed to put that level of talent on the floor. Then you have all the rest of teams being not being able to compete. The small market teams not being able to compete. So you gradually choke the product to the point where the funding becomes very difficult to find for the small market teams, because the sponsors say, well, why I want to put my money in this team for when Uno can't compete for a championship, right? So the approach being taken now, I think, is not new. We've seen it before and we've seen it work, right? What I would love to see is we take the lessons learned from the NEBL pre the 14, 15, 16 coming up before we got that influx of Belizean American and foreigners. We take the lessons learned from that and put a better marketing strategy on it to get the fans to buy in more into the product. but there is the point where you make is an excellent one. And how 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 we want to get that 5 or 6 or 10 homegrown Belizeans where they play at the level or close to the level of any foreigner we have to bring in. This right here, so is it. We have to give them the opportunity, you know. But when you have again, we know, I know they can't no team out for create no controversy. But when you have one Hurricanes or one Belize City defenders where have the resources to bring 7, 8
full house,
you know, where the space there to make the Belizean player grow, right? Yes, you could make the argument from a strictly marketing and basketball standpoint that they have approved themselves, but you have to give that player the space to grow, or those players the space to grow. In your Raiders days, you know, Belizean players were the attraction.
Yeah, but
right?
they were marketed.
They were marketed. The Belizean players were the attraction. So you guys got the space to grow, to build your own brand, so to speak. We never know what anything named is, but basically that's what happened.
Correct.
You know, you build your own brand, right? And you become one attraction. You become a household name.
Yeah.
But you have to get the opportunity to reach there.
Yeah. Guys, I want to ask one question in reference to this as well. Beres, you could chip into. Do you think that the drama by, you know, the drama from the foreign athletes has anything to play with the downsizing or the outlook of because remember you had drama off and on the floor, off and on the court a lot, you know. So do you think that played any role in terms of you know what, the new committee or ownership decided, you know what, let's downsize and see what we can do here. Do you think that had anything to do with it?
I don't think that the force contribution factor is what Derek mentioned earlier regarding the financial capacity of these teams. And what I understood before stepping into the ownership back in these teams is that why we should spend money for the minimum.
But
what the league has done this year, and the reason why they have scaled back some of these different rules is that from a financial standpoint, they just can't afford it. So that it serves two purposes. You get a more local, a league that's more familiar to your fans, but a league that's more sustainable as well. So what the new league, and for sure next week when I try to get Brother Paul and Flowers and Ryan, we reach out to them, is that there will be car sharing, there will be revenue sharing for the league and for the teams as well. So you'll find that these budgets have been slashed at $60,000 per year.
what?
Players are getting compensated even at a better rate than they were before.
But okay, but Beres, I wanna you know, just give a little chime in on that. In the early days, we used to have the same type of makeup as well. You know, in terms of the Raiders, the Santinos, Hot Points. You had the Venus team. You had You had Dangriga Warriors. You had small market team. You had large market team. You had teams that spend exuberant amount of money, and you had teams that couldn't match that, who spend little, you know. So you had the makeup of the top tier and the bottom tier. But recently, with all the drama, which we must admit that it was ringing some bells, you know. Don't you think that kind of sway the new approach?
But everything I've seen in terms of being in these water meetings is really, I'd say about 60 to 70% of the conversation has always boiled down to how we make the finances work.
Oh, okay.
Because this is it, we will not continue to put money into things where no financially sustainable. That, I don't know if you can find any deal, any deal when I would say, but we make something possible. So they're like, how much time you want me to do community service?
Yeah.
Because it's a great service to people. Like, the leader from a lot of us is involved in the team. Every way active, everything what is being a part of the franchise and being on the sideline, clear and understanding what the experience was like, right?
Yeah.
It brings light into the community, you know. So that is great in itself, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, dollars make sense.
Yeah.
You know, I get it continue support, you know, I get people energized to
Okay.
be a part of it is another way to be.
What do you think? What do you think, Derek? Let's get Derek point on that.
I see where they come from, Keith, in that. I look at it from a different standpoint. One product has the on the court and off the court facets to it, right? That off the court facet, if it's not properly managed, could turn off fans, it could turn off sponsorship.
Correct.
Right? So when we do get the commissioner in studio or on Zoom to have this discussion,
Yeah.
we have to ask them those tough questions.
Yeah.
What is the league's code of conduct?
Correct.
What you want to tolerate and what you don't want to tolerate, because it does have an impact
Correct.
on the
That-
viability.
That way I'm gonna get
it
at.
has an impact on the viability of the
And it messes with your finance as well.
Right. So, I'm glad to see Corozal
Back in action, correct. After wow, 2022, 2002.
Yeah, decades.
2002.
Decades
Yeah.
after
I think the last time was when Corozal, I was playing with the BTL Nets, and we faced Corozal. We had won the game, but we had to win by a certain amount of points in order to advance to the finals, because when we had met them in Corozal, they beat us. So this was 2002.
Yeah, I remember.
And with Lester Hood and
Shaban,
Marcus Watkins and
Eric Carr.
that was the year that they allowed 3 foreigners.
Yeah.
Each team were entitled to 3 foreigners, Beres. You could have gotten 3 foreigners, each team, and they had brought in some tough foreigners as well. But that was the last time I think that Corozal played in the league, and after that, it's good to have them back again, after so long.
And I think that what we talked about earlier, you have a certain trickle down when you have a team when they're playing at the highest league, one trickle down in terms of motivating kids to want to be that, to want to reach there.
Yeah.
And Corozal has had some dormancy in terms of basketball for some years. We haven't produced any high level of players over the last so many years. So this might be a good starting point for us to start to get some kids engaged and looking up to something.
And they could bring back that merger, because remember one time they had a merger between Orange Walk players and Corozal players playing on the same team. So since they're so close, But Beres, we're running out of time. We gotta wrap it up. But for the yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for the last 10 years at least, the recruit next one, the recruit means the boy players are in the market, either the World Cup.
Yes.
So we have a free fund going up to the international series on Saturday. Of course, all those teams will be in City at Civic for the opener on Friday night between the Thunderbolts and the TD Investment Green Ballers.
Yeah.
I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. I think the energy is good in this one as well. It's cooperative, it's collaborative.
Till somebody start to lose.
Until somebody start to lose. then it becomes no fun anymore. Yeah.
Until the conversation is broken, I want everything on the side. But right now, everybody's top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the way how I see it is that it's good to start from inside out. In terms of the new league, I kind of like the approach. For me, as a fan now, not playing anymore, I like to see high level caliber game. Not saying that these guys cannot perform at high level, but it's gonna be a work in progress. Like I said, I like the start from inside, work your way out. So we're starting with us, and then we're gonna branch out from there, and we're gonna see our our grassroots guys and see what they can do and put some pressure on them to go out there and perform and to showcase their ability in front of their friends and families. So I like the approach, and I'm looking forward to the season to see how it pans out. And hopefully it's a great start to develop the guys we have now, to bring in youngsters, and then we start to pack the foreigners to get them much better.
Yeah, and I am somebody that loves numbers and statistics, right? So we have 7 teams with 10 Belizean players minimum on each team, right?
Yeah.
So that's 70 players. That's a pool of 70 players.
Yeah.
So moving forward, we should look forward to, as in the ownership group, look forward to next year we have a pool of 100 players to choose from. The year after that we have
more.
120,
And
125.
And more,
so
yeah.
we
Correct.
build that pool of local talent, and
Yeah.
then we'll get to the point where we discover the next
Yeah.
Keith Acosta, the next Kirk
Correct.
Shabba Smith, the next,
Correct.
Bart
Yeah.
Sanchez, Doc Garnett,
Yeah.
so on and so
Correct.
forth, right?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm excited, like I said, for what's to come. Just want to encourage all the fans to lock in for the rest of us to summer with us. Keith, I think we have pushed through to at least September this year, and to start with.
Yeah.
By July, we start and do lots of interviews, lots of exciting.
Definite. We're back.
Of course, the master space is in the minister of state to support.
Oh yes. Yes, man. We have. There is no bust the bubble so quick, man. You they give out way info, man. See, but we have a lot. We have a lot in store this season. Season 3, we have a lot in store, and it's gonna be exciting and exciting. And we want to take everybody we want to take everyone on the run with us.
Yes, sir. No doubt, guys. So, all the sports shows fans who locked in with us.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for locking in for the first night. And let's look forward to another great season ahead. And Boots, around, please keep us out.
All right.